click live. I'm not even gonna.
I'm not
even gonna preface anything. Yeah, we're thick in it now, aren't we? I mean,
absolutely.
We'll give them a couple of minutes, but
no. How you been, bro?
Just in the thick of it. You know, we did that Soulogy Fest, and dude, it was just like I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's
amazing experience.
Yeah, it was. There was obviously the presence of our brother soul and sister soul, you know, souls that people remarked about it. I saw them. There was, I don't know, there was the land that we had it on has been intentionally created by the proprietor with Sedona, with the energies, with the ancestors. So there was that part of it. There was Sedona. There was the period that it took place, and then there was the people, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think that the biggest thing that stood out for me, that's kind of an understatement. I mean, everything was huge. There was probably about 35 women out of say 100 people that I really didn't know their name. I really hadn't met them. They all had this. They all had the same soul. Like it was almost like a coming out party. It was like an anchoring of, I guess, like the mother goddess energy or something to that effect. They all had the same makeup. They were, you know, not wanting to be on the stage, being in the background, big smiles on their face, been doing the work for a long time, very lit. And I would say that, and then I don't know. It was weird. It was like I don't know. It was like the space of non-judgment. We're finally where we have been working to get towards, and it was just crazy. I mean, the first day I was obviously emceeing, and the first day, I mean, I literally had like snot in my mustache. Every time I see someone, I just start crying. There was so much soul recognition.
Oh man.
Yeah, but and then of course the platform itself, or the presentations, performances, they were real versatile. There was, you know, a lot of different. We wouldn't just go from a speaker to a speaker. We'd go speaker, music, or the speaker might say, "Give me some music." I mean, there was just this flow to it that was very cool. There were some pretty cool artistic things that occurred. Yeah, so it was cool, and I think it's indicative of what's happening, which
most
is
definitely.
Right.
I'm pretty sure this is just the one of many paradigm moments, especially for us, those that kind of just been here, being extremely proactive over the years. So for me, I'm more so just happy for you and the whole experience, all the people around you, to be able to do something like that, and pull all those energies together. Like these are major wins.
Yeah. And I think there has to be going on, you know, in so many ways around the world. You know, I mean, this is just, I don't know, man. It was, and then for it to come when it did, you know, this has been an extremely powerful period, you know, from March, from the equinox, and we got eclipses, and, you know, I mean, I'm talking in the span of 5 days, I came across 12 wild pigs face to face with a big owl. I mean, the biggest owl I've ever seen, and a coyote. And essentially just walked up to me. It was crazy.
It ran up on you.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this is happening all over the place, and it's interesting to me. Even though I didn't do really do shows for about 3 weeks, but in just what I'm doing, like hearing people's experience, like, so that's like my question to you, you know, and for those of you who don't know, this is Lavelle Zimmerman, Universal Brothers and Sisters Circle, and many other things. And I've said it before, and it's not just for myself, but I mean, I came off the streets 2013, got a laptop. That's when I found you. And so you've been out there consistently doing this for a long time. And what I've noticed about you, other than the fact you come to work every day, and then you do it in style and everything, you know, and I've always felt kindred to you. But what I've noticed about you in the last few months is kind of like what it feels like to me, and it's just like this is going down. We're in the thick of it now. I'm feeling good. I ain't got nothing to lose because the soul can't survive because the soul never dies. And let's roll, you know. And that's how I've seen your energy this year. So I appreciate the inspiration. But what's your take on, like, you know, what? I know that's kind of a general question, but like, what do you think we just been through, and where do you think we're? You know, even more so, like, where do you think we're at? Because, like, you know, Morgan and I have had two. I would, well, I guess you would call it a teleportation. I've teleported twice. Now, these are just, I don't want to make it sound like it's more than it's not, but it is what it is. There was a physical transference that was, you know, to me, not about us, but about what is available to us now.
Absolutely.
And what is going to be available to us in 6 months. I mean, seriously. Go ahead.
So, last couple months. All right. There was a point in the beginning of, or mid-April, that I had a couple revelations and some very, very strong synchronicities, a very powerful meditation, and a couple powerful meetings where I woke up really drained. I'm able to receive clips, right? Little small snippets of the things that take place. It's just that on an intuitive level, I feel the amount of energy expounded, like the amount of attention given to those experiences when I wake up in the morning. So after those, there was a strong indication that we've reached another tier in energy that's available to us. Over the past year, with all the changes, there's kind of been a ramping up, and I want to say more so like a acclamation by the general public to great changes and things that humanity has never seen before. Yeah, and give or take 9 to 10 months of these extremely exciting, never seen before activities has primed the emotional bodies of most of the species enough to start allowing for a ramping up of the things that are able to take place, that we have the capacity to receive and observe. And we all can sense the intensity. And there's kind of this very strong kinetic energy where we feel like things are about to pop off, where some of us who've been doing this work are more so kind of getting into overdrive a little bit. Like, okay, you know what? Balls to the wall. I'm out. I need to be emotionally butt naked and coming to work every day. Like you said, I love that expression. Coming to work every day and actually integrating the lifestyle into a working sense of being and functionality. Now, I was talking to a person last night. I'm not going to go too long, but one of the things that I'm realizing more and more about the heart is it desires the change that's natural.
Yeah.
Mentally, we attempt and aspire for security and stability and predictability because it's comfortable, and it's great for us to like have that, but then be able to go out, wake up and go out in the world, do our thing, and still have our safe haven where we stay. And that's, it just brings us a sense of comfort. It's just that having the zest and being in the moment and actually being able to execute and know and have a sense of comfort in your own space that's home.
Yeah.
And yes, there's experiences and things where we're called to go on excursions and we have a safe haven to go to. It's just us being primed and being more comfortable with being in our own space, because things are changing rapidly. And now as we move into this new tier, things can become rather overly exciting.
Yeah, the kinetic energy you're talking about. I feel like I'm a lion in a cage.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm a lion in a cage, and of course it's multifaceted. You know, there's a part of me that's at peace. There's a part of me that sees what's happening. There's a part of me that goes, "Wow, is this really happening?" But there's this impending thing, and I'm like, I feel like a lion in a cage. Like we're all gonna just be unleashed or something. I don't know how to explain it.
That's the energy. That is the energy. And like I said, we can feel the intensity ramping up because we come to work every day and we fully engage. The more we become engaged and we start seeing these results and we start to become more and more sensitive to the changes in ourselves, we're connecting with that source of, it's almost like a internal alarm clock, if you will. Yeah. It's starting to become more and more apparent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's it seems to be talking to people. The body's on point. The body has its own consciousness. It's a part of us. It's talking really loud to people right now. Over the last few months, and that part of it, and then this other thing that you hit on too, which in the literal sense can look a lot of different ways, but mostly means. What I'm saying is isolation, solitude, home, like you were talking about. There's something about the importance of that right now.
Most definitely. Because we're being activated. When you're activated, things can happen very, very fast. And you will need your own energy. That's one of the things I've been kind of communicating to friends and family and people that come for, small bits of guidance is that a recurring theme is that we all need our own energy right now. We need our energy. We need our attention. We need our own focus, like the love that we have and that we're sharing. It's being charged. It's just that the more we give ourselves our own energy, the more we become comfortable with our own fragrance, and we actually charge ourselves and establish a deeper sense of balance when we give ourselves that focus. Because once again, we're grounding ourselves and rooting ourselves into the experience more and more every day, where there's similar to a walking sense of being grounded, like you're truly present, and it becomes more of a moving meditation. You get the opportunity to cultivate that as you give yourself more of your own attention, because internally is the world, the steps, if you will, that we're unfolding before ourselves. As the energies ramp up, we're giving more and more manifestation energies. And as we focus inside and give the ideas and the things that we desire, the energy that we want, not necessarily creating it, but more so developing the cycle of kinetic energy and allowing ourselves to balance and be comfortable in our own space. However, when we're in our pocket and it's time for us to move and do the work, we're activated.
Yeah.
We're ready, like we're supercharged. And when it's time to express, oh no, we gonna start expressing.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, I'm seeing people step up doing that. And to me, first of all, you can wrap that. That was a great one. About 3 minutes. That was a great explanation to me. And I was listening to you and I was thinking, energetically, image wise, it was like, when you get into a pool and the water's not warm, but it's not cold, and you just kind of like get in and you kind of like got to ease in. Some people will dunk themselves, you know what I mean? It feels kind of like that. And then what you said too about, and I saw this and I've seen this a lot around Soulogy, where people will step out. Well, there was a lady, for instance, Pamela Johnson. She's been around a long time. I've known her about as long as I've known you. And again, in the background, very connected. She's at the Soulogy Fest. She walks up to the stage, and I just saw the look on her face. And I've had her on the show a couple of times in 10, in 5 years, 6 years, whatever it's been. But that took a lot of effort. So she's not, but anyway, my point is the energy or the spirit of what you're talking about. I'm seeing this in people in many different ways. She came up, she basically said, I don't want to be here. I'm being told, get up there and say what you need to say or whatever you're guided to say, which is what she did. I have a picture from that moment. Her feet turned into rainbows, right? I'm going to do a little post on it. She gives her speech. I took the mic from her, handed it, introduced the next person, and walked outside the tent. And 6 Black Hawk helicopters came around the mountain and then flew right over the tent. Now that may seem, but I'm telling you, the energy that was transmitted by a soul that is going to that space you're talking about, that's coming out. It's like it made me go from God or goddess as a noun to God is in motion. Like, you know what I mean? That's it, right? You know, yeah. I see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, most definitely. The synchronicities and all. Come on, there are no accidents. There are no accidents. The things that we feel, our sensitivity to certain things that we may pass off as, just kind of like happenstance or just subtle things. And I'm fooling myself. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. 6 Black Hawks kind of flew over. Okay, well maybe they were. We rationalize these things because we want to stay grounded and keep ourselves sane and humble and so on and so forth. Everything doesn't have a meaning and so on. It's just that we're becoming more sensitive, and that sensitivity is connecting us to a very subtle but extremely intelligent wisdom in which life is working itself out perfectly. There's no accidents at all, ever. Like, this is really a show. Like, life is unfolding for us. It's showing us everything. No, as we become more comfortable with these experiences, it's beautiful for us to notice them and, you know, kind of maintain our composure about them. But it's necessary that we become more comfortable and not underestimate ourselves in the things that we feel. When we recognize significance intuitively, yes, it's subtle, but it's happening.
Yeah. Man, you're on it. You're lit today. You've been drinking the Kool-Aid. No, you're lit. That's another great explanation. You know, I mentioned earlier that a lot of people, including myself, are getting much more clear communication from the body. A lot of changes in appetites, in dropping of addictions, just different things that are starting to become the embodiment of embodiment. The body's like on point. And I know that, you know, in respect to the physical, you've had what at the human level we might call, say, medical conditions or challenges or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Obviously you are on the front edge of embodying being an ET, because I know of you and some other people that have similar situations that have basically defied conventional wisdom. There's something about the transformation that's occurring in everyone, and certain people seem to be kind of front and center on that. When the reason I'm asking you this is because, or bringing this up, is because because I know you're very much in touch with your body. You work out every day, you eat right, and thank you for sharing on your story, because I really, that's part of my day, seeing what you're cooking and, you know, what you're up to. But so I know you're very in touch with your body. Have you experienced that? Have you already had a very tight connection with your body because of what your journey's been? Or and even if you have or haven't, has it increased? I mean, is the body speaking louder?
Absolutely. we have a very close relationship. Just the same closeness as me and the guardians. My body is always talking, always communicating each and every day. The food that I'm eating. You know, sometimes I'll take a hit of the weed, and you know, I mean, I don't smoke like everybody else. I'll take one pull and put it out. I'm good for a couple hours. I'm cool and I'm doing my thing, my groove. And a lot of times I'm working, and now, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I give myself those passes. I give myself those passes, but of course I'm still healing, and that stuff is being worked out of my system. But it's been a constant process when it comes to the body communicating, talking to the cells. Like, I'm tapping into a lot of information and having these conversations with people, and I know that there are no coincidences. So a lot of times I'm talking to myself and people are talking to me about the body and us actually communicating with the cells. We have so much to share with the body consciously. We have a room for such a great relationship with the body and the cells of our being. Like our thought patterns and how we feel about ourselves, they have real effects on our physical appearance, on our vitality, on the way and the condition in which the body's working internally. It's just that the same as we have a relationship with our angels, we have a relationship with our physical selves. And the more we communicate with them, the more we care for them, and are more proactive consciously about between the self and this aspect of the salt. You know what I mean? As we start to have that communication and establish deeper lines, we really can make these serious changes and allow for great leaps and bounds in the way in which we operate our bodies. Our vitality has the ability to reverse itself. Like we have the ability to do this. It's such an ingrained set of programming when it comes to the physical. But at this point, oh no, these energies are real and they're magical. We have every bit of conscious effect on, we have more of a conscious effect on our body that we've ever had in the entirety of human history right now.
Yeah, that resonates.
It's at the highest level it's ever been as a planet. There's been pockets of evolved souls that's been able to do things. It's just that right now, collectively, as an entire planet, this is the highest frequency we've ever been at. Yeah. And our ability to connect with that energy and communicate with the body and integrate the way in which we operate on all these different levels, it's there. It's just not underestimating our own power and having the maturity emotionally and spiritually to communicate with those levels like they are conscious beings. They are, and they're with us.
There you go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yesterday I had Franco on, and he said something to me that I hadn't heard, which is to me part of what's happening. Really, one way to put it is something is presented to us and our mind opens a little bit more. Because sometimes it's not resistance, it's just you just didn't ever thought about it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about the body, and he said how the body has its own consciousness, which I was hip to that already, but that inside the body itself, as an energetic, essence or whatever, each part of it, like you're talking about the cells, it's literally an akashic. It has history. It has its own, each piece of it. Just like we're each piece of the universe has its own lineage and memory, and you can tap into it. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. Now I'm talking to my body and, working on my DNA and identifying blockages and all the different things, right? But I've never thought about that, like tapping into parts of it in the search for, more direct link to infinite intelligence. And it would make sense to me that part of the universe closest to us, that in this case literally is us in a physical matter sense, would have, it would seem like it would have the hugest potential. But then again, I've never checked into it. I'm about to. So at least we'll find out.
That's amazing. Absolutely. And then once again, that applies internally and externally. We've kind of intuitively known this. People name their cars and talk to our car and come on, like these are real things. When we're ready to grow up and communicate with aspects of self and work as one, these are opportunities for us to harmoniously coexist and be more conscious beings within the hologram, like more conscious and more consciously validating and recognizing these aspects of self that are here to help us, like do things. Mechanics as well, sentient and non-sentient beings, the fabric of existence. As a conscious being, we have the ability to communicate and express our appreciation for all aspects of our experience as we heal. And of course, as we heal and we're healing on this path for personal authenticity, the universe supports us. And we have the opportunity to consciously show our appreciation for all aspects of self so they continue to help us in the most effective manner possible. Because we're respecting and we recognize these aspects of existence with respect and dignity and honor. We are source. We operate like God when we speak to all aspects of creation like brothers and sisters, like we respect them, like we treat life like royalty, because that's our heritage. We come from royalty. We here as guardians of all life. So it's only right for us to respect and acknowledge and recognize all these aspects of creation that are assisting us on our path. Come on, like they're supporting us. Say thank you, regardless of what you feel about it, or if it's a inanimate object or whatever. Like, listen, this is liquid life, and it would appreciate you recognizing its presence in your life.
Boom, liquid life.
Yeah.
No more strife. Oh my God, that was beautiful, man. You're yeah, excellent. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's true. I know I have faults, and I've had, everyone's got their own, whatever that they were born with and work out, whatever. But I've always had this really, I don't know, like almost like an aversion to the word hate. Like, even if I say I hate this glass, or, I just never, I don't think I did that much. I certainly don't feel it, because there's something innate in me, which means it's everybody, that, everything we're looking at is sacred. It doesn't, and on that note, so we've talked a lot over the years. I think one of the last times we talked was in the middle of, the narrative as it was, pre-election, post-election, and all that stuff that went with it.
Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed, I'd like to see what your thoughts are. Well, first of all, from a personal level, I look at the stuff going on now, and I don't mean this in a non-sacred way, but it's comical. It's humorous. I'm like, wow, the cartoon's really kind of getting, and maybe that's the way it goes. It gets so stupid that people just go, okay, I'm done. But but I have noticed in the let's just say the disclosure, conspiracy, and Starseed platforms that there's a lot more sticking just where people kind of gather. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess the narratives are dying down. I don't see the influence that they had. And to me, I thought that was a really good sign that kind of coincided with this period you're talking about in April. So I guess two questions. Do you see the narratives fading like I'm seeing it in other people, not just with yourself? We'll just start with that one. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to say anything to that.
Every day as the light increases, everything it's just being revealed. It's a slow drip.
Yeah.
And every day it gets faster and stronger, and the deception becomes more transparent. If you want to know what's going on this main stage, look at your own circumference, your own life experiences, the people around you, right? It's reflective of what's happening on that stage. It's reflective of what's happening inside of us.
Yeah. And
it's happening faster and faster. The people I just had a conversation today with a friend, and I enjoy listening because when you're open, you hear all kinds of perspectives and their views on things, and he's expressing to me all the holes and gaps and stories and integrity and all this stuff. It's just it's so transparent now.
Yeah, it is.
In actuality, it's a sign of the desperation.
Yeah, I agree.
Urgency is a manifestation of desperation, fear, and especially anger and defense and sarcasm and judgment. All of these things. These are masks that fear wear.
Yeah.
And because the narrative isn't sticking. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have a strong foundation to stand on. So there's instability there. And once again, it's more stronger than it was last year, yesterday, day before yesterday. last month, and every day it's just getting stronger and stronger. And we notice this move. Everybody notices this move. There's stuff that comes in and they're still going to try things. It's part of the story. But once again, our thing, our responsibility right now is our energy. True. We need our energy. All that stuff is going to take place. But as the energies increase and the experiences intensify, our own capabilities intensify, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah,
we deserve that fire. Like the things you don't desire don't deserve your fire. We deserve that fire.
That's right.
And that fire is for the things that we're here to do. That's for our visions. That's for the joy, the happiness, our services, the things that we want to manifest. We deserve that energy after all these generations of suffering. Yeah. We deserve this potent energy. And it's like, is a story going to come out each and every day, more and more intense and more interesting? But come on, like and I'm not, I say they, but it's we know what this is, the paradox, right?
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah.
There's a parading of put it this way, the ego mind would have a
heart attack.
A heart attack, and it just be enamored by all the great conversations and things to debate about and talk about. Dude, you want my attention so bad of the sensationalism. But once again, I know I deserve this energy. What I want to do, when I came this far to manifest, it deserves that energy.
You're right. You're right. Two things come to mind. One is you're absolutely right. I mean, and the funny thing is, of course, a lot of this stuff has been, let's just say, commented on or posted on or whatever over the years. I'm talking about stuff like Agenda 21 or just different things. Because if you look at what's happening this year, like the acceleration of, oh, wow, I saw one yesterday. Oh, there's life on Mars. I mean, they had a picture of like a humanoid. This was on Daily Beast or something. So, I mean, they were like accelerating. You're like going, oh, come on, man, you know? Well, that's the funny part. But, you know, like when I'm listening to you talk, I go back to, did you see the Last Dance documentary about the Bulls?
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, like there's a press conference that Jordan has, and it's during that 6th year pre-playoffs or right at the playoffs. And he says, we should, every champion should be allowed to play until they lose. Just like when you go play ball in the, you know, out of the park. You know, if you win, you got the court. And so I feel like the same type of energy, like what you're saying. Like we have come back, which means we have won. We have championed ourselves over and over and over and over and over. And we're at this point now. I'm with you. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I don't even care how we got here now. It's just like game on, you know, like what's going to happen here? I mean, if everything's paralleling and it's hitting the physical now, like in our bodies, and you're seeing instant healing, you're seeing, I met a lady that was 79 years old at the Soulogy Fest. She looks like she was 59. You know, I mean, there's people that are already in that mode. What's going to happen? Like if we've had these levels of expansion, say at the emotional body or the mental body or whatever, etheric body, chakras, it's going to follow the same pattern in the physical, which means, hell, we could all be Marvel Comics heroes, supernaturals in a blink of an eye. And that's no bullshit.
Well, I expressed this, I want to say last Sunday. And the epiphanies kind of come, and a lot of times they remind me and connect me with old things that I've recognized about the story, about our journey as I was recognizing and expanding consciousness, receiving these downloads. There was a bunch of like information that was extremely exciting about the ascension process and about our presence and, you know, identity and so on and so forth. And they were nice to toy with at the beginning, but eventually I was like, okay, you know what? Let's leave that alone. That's great. let's focus on the grounding work. Let's actually do the healing. I mean, it's nice to tell stories, and I'm not validating or taking value away from speaking ET languages and expressing the nature of the hierarchy and all that. But for me, it's about the work that we're doing now that allows for those things to happen versus us telling stories to each other about how great we are. And it's like, no, still dig up your nose. Stuff going on. Let's ground. Let's get into ourselves and do the emotional work of accepting ourselves and forgiving ourselves more. Now, with that being said, planet Earth is a unique experience. It's the most intense, emotionally charged planet of this density to incarnate on in this universe. Planet Earth, the one that we're on, it's the most emotionally charged, dense place to incarnate on and attempt to evolve into the higher levels of frequency, back into the higher realms. It's the hardest. And in actuality, we're choosing the hard. A lot of times, because of the distortions, the way the things have unfolded, we've chosen the hardest way in which to evolve and heal ourselves through having to re-experience and process and transmute deeply emotionally charged cycles of experience that started eons ago. Like in this body embodiment, like we're having to reverse engineer and transmute and forgive and heal that. So with that being said, the souls here that are at a healing capacity, at a service capacity, not just incarnate, but incarnate at a service capacity. I say this with the most humility I possibly can, but we're like rock stars in the universe. Like, and like I said, I say this from a place of humility. It's not like, but we've already experienced all this suffering, and now we're activated. Like, it's time to go. Why am I receiving all this energy, all this inspiration? I have it's a lot of stuff going on all at the same time, but we still have the fire, and it's like, let's go. Give me some more. We want to love more. We want to create. We want to express. We want to represent the truth, and we're doing that. It's just that this is where that energy comes from. We've had so many experiences in this space. And because of the time that we spent here dealing with all the blockages and all the cycles and karmic experiences and distortions and us getting to a certain level and having to go back and coming up again and having to go back because something wasn't right. And now it's like, okay, now it's time. And now we got it. We're sophisticated enough not to fight ourselves into more suffering because we feed what we fight. We try to fight off the problem, fight off the suffering, fight off the distortion or what have you, and it works like a Chinese finger trap. The pressure, us fighting, makes the hold stronger. But now we finally got it. It's not fighting. We're actually giving peace a chance. We're giving our creativity a chance. We're giving each other a chance. We're deciding to use that energy we normally would use to fight, to create, and heal, and love. And it's like, okay, we got it now. Let's go.
Dude, you are rocking it. I've known you for a long time. You're hitting on all cylinders. But you're right. You're right. And the thing is, it's like a Chinese, an Asian martial artist is what I picture. Not to be, I mean, that's where the martial arts came from. But it's like the what do you call it? The conservation of energy, but it's not through a defensive kind of approach. It's actually an offensive movement. That you know what I mean? Because of, like, they call it chi or tai chi, whatever. But the movement itself is so in flow that there's the least amount of energy used. Where if we're in the fight mode, we know what happens there. You got it. But so I really resonate with what you said because the human is the hero. I mean, I really resonate more than ever, at this moment today, because it really is what you just said. I have a friend, Yvonnya, who comes on like once a month, and she's very connected. And she just put a post up yesterday, and I can't recall the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But in a sense, what it was saying is we have now gotten to this point where all those things that kind of brought us to the party, be it like you were talking about light language, not to take anything away from anybody. This is a specific point. She was just saying that now that we've gotten to this point, like, let that shit go. Like, not that you don't keep doing it, but in other words, put it in its proper place, because it's now going to take away from what you actually are. And what you are in human terms would be what I am now, what I'm becoming. Because that's really why we're here. We're not here to fulfill the old blueprint, not, all respect, in return to the original. I mean, that's pure oneness. That's where we come from. That's our safety net. That's our home. That's our oneness. We're out here playing and expanding because the universe doesn't sit still. So, this thing with, like what you said, it was so eloquent, because a big part of that, another thing that I'm seeing, and it's like I was talking about earlier, people stepping up, it's creativity, it's spontaneity, it's spiritual confidence, it's inspiration, it's a channel all in one. And that's, to me, what we're in store for. We're going to see people doing all kinds of stuff. Everyone's a genius.
Everybody has their gift, and we all are participating in the co-creation of the fabric that we know to be the truth of existence here on this planet. One of the things that I also was indicated to me is that we need to start recognizing this planet as our home now. Like now, versus projecting. Yes, we have origins in other places, many galaxies and places that we've come from to be here. That's the nature of our experience. We resonate primarily with the one that we spent the most time on, or the one that we last came from. It's just that all of these places are our home. It's just that we're here to do work. We're here to share that light and to allow for that fabric to manifest here on this planet. And once again, it's taking care of us throughout all these generations. So the recognition of this space, this planet as our home that we're here to take care of, that we're to work alongside, is absolutely important for us to ground that energy here, to ground it versus being detached. And okay, we're here for this amount of time and I can't wait to go home. And it's like, no, we are home.
Yeah, been there once, been there forever. But no, you're right. And this is exactly the same energetic pattern that's being reformed as what you were just talking about. It's just a different metaphor. It's not a metaphor because it's literal, but it also has a parallel to what we were talking about earlier. If the universal energy and the experience that we're sharing has moved to a point where the body, I'm lit. I mean, the body is front and center, then it would only make sense at a collective level that our body is requiring or occurring the same way, in the body being Mother Earth. So that's a great point. It really is, because this is all I don't want to say this is all we have, this is all we got, but when you look at what we really can prove and see, touch, smell, I mean, it's this.
Absolutely.
It's this. We're all that.
Manifest it. To manifest it and hold that capacity, we have to be totally here. We can't be other place. We have to be here. We have to take ownership, take full responsibility to be invested on a spiritual level, wholeheartedly. We're here. And we are here as guardians of all life on this planet, as being, it's a living library that's connected with 11 other planets who live in libraries for that aspect of the galaxy. We're here to host and bring in our ancestry or our lineage energy to this space on a physical level. It's just that energetically, our energy has to be here. The Syrian, Lyrian, Arcturian energy, Palladian energy, has to be fully here and connected to Gaia. Once again, in a humanoid form, we are built. We are built we've been built over generations by extraterrestrial engineering on the greatest level. Our framework on all levels, we've been built specifically for this planet. It's just that encoded in that engineering is the capability for the humanoid form, this humanoid form, to hold the highest capacity of source energy ever experienced in the physical body before. In humanoid form, the greatest capacity of source energy ever. So once again, to be able to connect and allow for that energy to come in, we have to be totally grounded on this planet. Because you don't receive that energy unless you're totally grounded here.
Yeah.
It's your base. It's the planetary body that's allowing us to ground this energy. We can't receive it if we're not grounded.
No. Morgan told me when I met her 5.5 years ago, none of this stuff means anything unless you embody it.
Absolutely.
And just in the last 10 days, I when you learn through experience and you get something. I mean, somebody can tell you till they're blue in the face. But I thought I got to, because what I've been doing for 10 years and what you've been doing for, at least as long. I mean, and I've done it and I've watched people do it. And it's, you get the download, you're like, wow, and you go to share it. And then somewhere down the road, you embody it, And I saw this through videos, and I said video would come up from a few years, and I'm like, wow, I said that then? Well, I damn sure wasn't doing it. But it wasn't like a judgment, but now it feels like download, embody, share. Right, like it's something's kind of changed. I mean, and I know it's not just me, but I've seen this happen with, you're very galactic, okay, and this is I'm sure been an evolution for you. If I look at Morgan's galactic, Franco's very galactic. Other people I know, I'm gonna go down the list, but I see that coming to them as well. Like if somebody's more organic, I mean, I thought I was all human, right? I mean, so it's a little bit different of a path, but for those that carry a really high frequency, galactic frequency like yourself, I mean, that's a chore. That's not an easy thing. You've heard all these people come on and they'll go, man, when I was born, I knew I didn't belong here. This isn't my family. What are you talking about? And so that's I saw a thing the other day. And I think it was broken to masculine, feminine, but I can't remember. But it basically said that some people, the galactic type of frequency is anchoring the organic or the earth frequency, and those that are on the other end of it are anchoring the higher frequency. So it's almost like a direct relationship of an inverse movement to the 0 point. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many different lineages and different mutts upon mutts upon mutts. And if you just put that into like a monad kind of layout, like a flower of life.
Yeah.
This is, we're really, really, in my opinion, we're not even on the tip of the iceberg. No. we got like a toenail. I mean,
there's so much more. To add to your point about the reversing and crisscrossing of those energies, I find myself in the process of bringing things into physicality. I'm having this time with it's okay, to, for lack of a better term, I'm attempting to crystallize spacey energy in a very conventional format.
That makes sense. I get what you're saying.
The information is there, and the awareness is there. It's just, I'm attempting to embody and allow for practical methodology for this energy to be expressed here.
Yeah. It's like the energy of new, like rebirth, not rebirth, new birth, new creation, new life, new community, new all the way up the ladder. I see that. And so it's like but the physical is part of it. Like we're making babies all the time. You know, we come together. Let's say we come together. We do a little production. An energy is born and it goes out.
Yep.
But that's etherical or non-physical primarily. It might have, you know, a tune to it and somebody can hear it. But what you're talking about, when I was listening to you, when you used the term crystal, it's almost like we're creating crystals. Like we're creating a physical energy complex with each one of these creations. Yeah, this is cool. I can see what you're saying.
You got
I like the way you explain that. Yeah. Richie says very well articulated. Yeah.
Most definitely. It's the crystallizing of a frequency. You can feel it, then to actually allow the ideas to manifest themselves and crystallize and form through feeding the idea. Our body is but the crystallization of the idea of who we are.
Yeah.
Given focus over and over and over again until there's a physical body present, where the manifestation of an idea or the crystallization of an idea out of nothing, as we connect with these energies on a higher plane of existence, such as even higher frequency U's that we've never seen before. We're crystallizing those because we're giving energy to that plane of existence. As we expand in consciousness, we're bringing that energy into physical form here, which could be considered a foreign object because it's not from this plane of existence. But come on, well, that's why we deserve this.
Like some of the people incarnating bodies, like you and Franco. but it's true. I had this thing the other day. I've got this kind of like growing interest in animation.
Yeah,
you know, like I really get into like different Midnight Gospel or just these kids. They are spirit science on YouTube. You know, and I had this idea in my head. I guess I don't know what you call it. So there's always been this narrative of, which is, I would imagine there's a literal truth to it. We came down, we planted the seeds, basically seeded the earth, and then we went on, and then there's this alien invasion, right? It's ships land and whatever, it's Project Bluebeam or whatever. But what I saw was that we are that invasion. Like we stepped into these bodies. You know what I mean? And like to get that on a cartoon or an animated feature, but like we came, these are our vessels. And, you know, and that's another thing going back to the body and some of these sacred texts, but I don't know what the exact verbiage is, but that the body is the temple. Like how much more can you prove? And I got a ways to go. I'll be the first to admit it, but how much more devotion and how much more can you cut through the bullshit of whatever by treating this body like a temple? And you're talking to somebody who's hasn't done that most of his life, you know, but it's changing. It feels kind of natural. And I know a lot of people can relate to that, but really the body is a temple. It's a biological Merkaba. It's that God substance that you were talking about. That's everything we can see. You know what I mean? So like, that's like going all the way to me, you know, and I'm not saying I'm ready to do it, but I want to do it and I'm working that way. And I'm sure a lot of people are, but it sure seems like if we're talking about embodiment is the full potential, then why wouldn't we all be headed that way? You know what I mean? So, which may be breatharians and solarians and, you know, that type of lifestyle. I don't know. But yeah.
There's always more.
Yeah.
The sacred nature of the body in itself is becoming more and more apparent as we experience it. There's value in the stories, value in the process, and the crystallization of it, and the higher aspects of even moving beyond the body are beautiful in themselves. But this is the story of us allowing and mixing those worlds. I talk about this all the time too. The higher self and the ego self are working together to alchemically manifest this being.
Yeah,
we're talking about the seventh golden age, which is usually described as the platinum age that we're moving into. Now, with this platinum age of ours, there's Yeah, it's just so much magic, dude. We're in the process of establishing this being that's more evolved than the higher self that we have now.
Yeah.
The ego and the higher self, they're working together to establish a super being amongst the two. It's just that it's a mixture of the color and the higher vibrational purity of the light of the divine mixed up, manifest in a physical form to do the work through exploration, through self-discovery, through self-expression, where it's really this God superhero energy in the physical to go out and do the work, because once again, this is the hardest planet. This is the hardest planet. The beings that evolve from this space will definitely go out in the physical to do the work, to assist from a place of guardianship based on our experiences, based on our experiences that we've had here. So going to another space with just a fraction of less density and distortion in this place, of course, it'd be easy for us to do that work.
It's yes to all of that. To all of it. You know, there's another thing that, and I've watched this or felt this for a long time. I've always related more to going out and creating something to kind of clear the crap off my soul, so to speak, you know, to clear the chakras that are blocked, or however you want to describe it. But I've also gone down the road of shadow work and zero pointing, integrating, and that's a continuous thing. But there feels to me, and that was part of what I saw at the Soulogy Fest too, which was you just come, you show up, you don't really have a plan. Like the first day, everyone's like, "Oh, I thought this was a schedule." And I just put an X on it and said, "There ain't no schedule." You know, so we'll see what happens. But it kept happening. So it was like more of a, okay, all right. So I'm not saying that we were in the defense, but there was more emphasis on the journey and what we call the shadows and the traumas and the blind spots. There was more time put in there, like say on a majority level. Now I feel like there's at least equal potential in bringing in alignment through creation. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I saw that many times. For example, I saw two ladies get up and they went up and spontaneously they both have kind of a harmonic light language. They're both very different.
Yeah.
And they just kind of did a duet thing for like 4 minutes. Well, there was about 7 or 8 times during that duet that it was hard to explain, but their voices, now one was going to say up and down and one was just holding a bar, and their voices created something like light, like little geometry coming out, like there was something going on. And that was kind of what I understood, was that itself was clearing and aligning, not as a better alternative, but as an alternative that's taking on more of a presence, as opposed to going in and doing what we got to do sometimes, which is take a good look at ourselves and, look at what we see in other people that we're not seeing in ourselves and all that, But yeah, I see that happening.
Life is amazing. When we get out of the way. Yeah. When we get out of the way, I just had this conversation the other day too. These points of ours, like this clearing spot, I call it a expansion point, right? It's the launching pad. Yeah. Rock bottom is the launching pad, and we've all had our different levels of rock bottom. But when we're there, we know we're there, and we internally or subconsciously do this. Okay, you know what? I don't know what else to do.
That's
and
right.
We step back, we put our hands up. Yeah. When we do this, this is where you allow the magic in. Yeah. When you do this, This is where you stop this from attempting to figure things out and reverse engineer everything and will everything into place for you. And you allow higher aspects of self in to show you what God bought. It's there to show you the magic, to show you the miracle, to show how extensive your drive is. And just off of the strength of you having the confidence and giving the trust to the unseen, that's where magic comes into play. When you give the unseen your your vote of confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where magic happens, because they're waiting for the opportunity to show you you got help, to show you you got support. It ain't just you.
Yeah,
it ain't just you.
That's right.
And when you beat yourself up enough and let go, they're wanting to step in. It's almost like you give it like tag team. Like you give, okay, stop 5, y'all go do it now. Show me what this is. Show me what I'm missing. And the more you do that, the more confidence you have when you reach those points in your life. You get excited about experiencing those points in your life because you know something amazing about to take place.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus. When it comes to Jesus meeting, man, he's going on. I used to do rants like that. I don't do them anymore. I need to go back to it. No, that's pure gold. I mean, and you know, that's another thing too. Like, I can't really tell. I can just look at things and go, well, this is something that's kind of like becoming a characteristic of the present energies or a consequence of what we just went through or something. But one of them is, you know, there was a part of us that can't ask for help, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm talking about human to human. Well, I can't do that. I got too much pride, you know, and all that BS, all that, you know, but, you know, it's always been true in my life and many people I talk to. In fact, I would challenge anybody to tell me that they haven't prayed or whatever you want to call it to the universe from the heart of hearts and they didn't get a blessing. And so what I'm saying is, I think another characteristic that's starting to gain some ground, you know, and expand is the human aspect, that part of us that we all have in common, you know, regardless of where we came from, is having enough wherewithal to say, can you help me? Right? Or can you work with me? I mean, that's an important thing, because that's, I think, part of the reason that we have so much, what we might call, star family, brothers and sisters and other divine energies assisting us. And it's true. It's real. We saw it at the Soulogy Fest, and I saw it with my own eyes. You know, I looked down and I saw at the moment, right before Franco was going to utter the words, he said something like, "Todd, you got a lot of friends here." Well, right before that happened, I looked at the ground and I saw a reptilian's face. And I went, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then I looked over here and there was a whole, like a coalition, you know, Lyran, you know, Syrian, you know what I mean? You can't make this stuff up, you know? So we've brought this in, and I'm doing my best to be conscious of tapping into it. Not do this for me, but guide me, help me. Thank you. I don't know what's going on. You know, I woke up this morning and I'm like, why do I feel so flat? You know, why do I feel, what's going on? Is there something wrong? And I'm like, can you help me? And about 3 minutes later, as I'm piddling around the kitchen, I heard, "There's nothing wrong unless you think there is." Now, like, and I went, "Come again?" And they're like, "How do you, like, how do you feel now?" Yeah, it was like, "How do you feel now?" And I was like, "Okay, I feel like you just told me something. How do you want to feel?" And I was like, "Oh, you know." And then, so I don't know. Is that, well, all I'm saying is, if you ask, it seems to be more available, and I think it was always there, but we were too wounded to ask. I don't know.
It's more available.
Yeah.
as we evolve and we communicate more, we're acknowledge, and this is the beautiful thing about the acknowledgement thing we talked about earlier. As we acknowledge and validate the conscious presence that is assisting us in all aspects of our lives, we develop a stronger and stronger, more transparent and comfortable relationship with these aspects of self, because we consciously are in a place of being sophisticated and spiritually mature enough to recognize them, not from a place of fear, not from a place of separation or feeling like you in the loony house. It's like, no, I'm a creator, a source energy being here, experiencing myself on all levels. I have eyes to see. I'm working with a certain level of senses, but as I become more sophisticated, I know there's more things there that I can't see than I can see. And when we reach that level of awareness and sensitivity, and we start to address and validate and recognize with respect these aspects of self, life will start talking to you, and it'll start working with you. That's why that's why we're co-creators. Co-creator beings, as we start to acknowledge different conscious aspects of self. It's the same effect that souls have when they start to communicate with crystals. That was that's a recent thing within the last couple of 4 to 5 decades for a lot of us starting to communicate with crystals and see they actually have effects. It's just that it doesn't stop there.
Right.
Everything is conscious. And as we start to communicate and work alongside it, there will be more opportunities and experiences in which we communicate in a real way with our deeper senses with these aspects of existence. Fifth dimensional framework involves us communicating with flowers and the shrubbery and all the fantasy stuff that we assume to be this Hollywood thing. And it's like, no, life is stranger than fiction. Where do you think all these ideas come from? Where do you think these ideas come from? They come from source.
Yeah, that's right.
Being that they come from source, there's an aspect of creation that represents that idea. All the cartoons and images and things that people have conjured with the very limited fraction of intelligence that humans have connection with comes from that place. It comes from that. So the things that we've imagined up and created for ourselves to observe, to play with, and be amused by, this is just a small piece of what creation actually is. It's just that we have to come to a place of being sophisticated enough to recognize that that's the nature of existence. It's called infinite intelligence.
Take it on home, cowboy. But yeah, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, oneness is oneness. There's no exception. I mean, God didn't say, the universe didn't say, everybody's cool, but this group over here. These narratives, I get this thing the other day. Unity consciousness comes when you understand that the only separation comes from you. That's the only separation possible. There is no other separation. It just comes from me. And so that, to me, is something I think that people, you've seen that over the years. People have come into more of oneness, more of unity consciousness. It's been, that's been reflected in the communities, and it's going to continue. I just keep thinking about the massive expanses from pre-awakening or even pre-activation during the cycles of awakening. To where you come after the activation, you know what I mean? And and I look at that, and I look at, okay, well, everything's been done except for the physical. So here we go. Like that affects the mind, what you think is going to happen to the body, becoming becoming youthful again. No sickness, no healing. I mean, this is the real stuff here, man. We've done this on the energetic level with all these other bodies, and it's really just come down to the distractions now. The distractions being the narratives, addictions, and addiction is an energy, if I want to use that word, that can apply to anything. It can apply to doing this all day. It can apply to so many different things. You're talking about being present. You're talking about also, after all these years and after all these lives and after all this, the prices we paid, that it's pretty obvious that this is a embodiment game, and that means total reverence, respect, and honor and love for our human and our fellow humans, just as we have these essences, angels, galactics, and such that have brought us to the party.
Return to self. It's the return to self. And the distractions are indicative of the importance of us grounding ourselves right now. Like actually embodying that peace, that presence. And then it ain't about, wearing the outfits and all of the, divination shop stuff. I mean? Those are tools.
Yeah.
But when you get down to it, when you get down and dirty, it's about you being more unconditionally loving with you.
Yeah.
This is the key to all of that. So all of the talking and all of the things that we want to experience, all the external stuff, we're in the game now.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. We're on the court. We've been asking, coach, put me in the game, put me in the game.
Yeah.
We're balling now. It's time to ball. And when you're in the game, you can't have your eye on the scoreboard. You keep your eyes on the field when you're balling. You keep your eyes on the field. Looking at the scoreboard is us checking for people doing, and it's just all the inspirational stuff, or looking at books and, getting too caught up in all of that, because we love to learn. We love the prerequisite aspect of it and gathering data and attempting to learn what we could use. And it's like, okay, now put that away. Now it's time for you to embody that and do that. Speak from your heart. Put the books down, put the stuff down, be present, be with yourself, go to nature, turn off the phone and all the stuff, all the videos and stuff you've been watching and trying to learn. And we're in the game now. And the thing is the intensity is building up, and that intensity it's almost like somebody about to pass me the ball.
Yeah.
I'm about to get the ball. What am I doing?
I was talking to, Shalom, I Am Light. Shalom, I Am Light. Look her up after this. You'll love her. She's an artist. She's a beautiful Black sister, man. She's from my hometown, or where I grew up in Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Yeah. She's
a mother of 5. I mean, was in destitute, and I mean, it's just a crazy story, but she's got great energy. God, I forgot why. She said something yesterday though to what you were saying. I can't remember what it was now, but yeah, you should look her up. Shalom, I Am Light. In fact, she does a show with a brother from the UK, I think every Thursday. That's pretty interesting. But I can't remember why I brought that up. Yeah, man, it's very refreshing to see, to be able to interact with you, in the physical, and it's been very validating. It's amazing to be aware of growth within myself.
Yeah.
It's also very, amazing to me to see the growth in my friends like you. And I'm always astonished by those that pull in a tremendous amount of energetic downloads and codes. Many of them have a pretty strong galactic, but not all of them. But anyway, like yourself, and then riding the waves is the human aspect, right? And so knowing you for so long, I mean, it's all of us have had, the highs and the lows, so to speak, not that it's been a bloody trip or anything, but I'm talking about the last few years. But to see the balance that you exude and others like you is to me like a synchronicity. It's like 11:11. It's a validation. So it's good to see. I'm happy for us. Absolutely. And I'm happy for you. And I still want to see the day when we come together in the physical. So we've got to continue working so we can start the regeneration, and my hair goes black and thicker again.
Come on. It's
yeah.
time.
Hey, if I can get, well, as soon as I can get out of the country, which is what one of the things I'm working on. Yeah, I'm definitely.
Let's go.
Be traveling around the world.
Let's go, T.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The world needs you, bro. The world
that's what
needs
I'm saying, man. Oh yeah, we would have a blast. I mean,
come on.
I got that leaving the Soulogy Fest. It was like the next day, everybody left. I'm pulling out in the bus, and this is the middle of the desert. And I pull out, and there's these big grandmother and grandfather mountains on each side.
Yeah.
And I heard like, this is what you just did. Like, so it was kind of an individual transmission, but then it went on to say, this is happening everywhere. So every time someone does it, people that observe it then in turn do it again. So it was like a flower of life type of contagious, spontaneous reaction kind of thing, showing the energy. I think we're well past the halfway point, and we're like in the home stretch.
Stretch.
Yeah.
Home stretch. We can still, it's a couple of things we got to do.
Yeah.
We were prepared, and it's almost time to activate. Now it's the exciting part.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think you're really going to start to notice it in individuals too. Like it'll be irrefutable. Like it won't have anything to do with religion or science or pedestals. It'll just be like, whoa, what's that woman doing? What's that guy doing? You know, people to the point where the energy will from an individual or individuals or whatever will be so strong that it'll be like a natural knowing, like with healers, you know, where people will know somebody's a healer, like, show me what to do. What do you know that I don't know? That type of thing.
They're gonna look for that. They look for that presence, because all the things it's enough to overdrive the nervous system, and it has effect in different people. But the thing with us and our presence is our presence. The confidence and security and knowing within ourselves of life happening for us, that is going to be the hot commodity. That's going to be the lighthouse that souls around us will desire. And we have the ability to provide that support to our loved ones based on the decisions that we make in our lives now, the lifestyle that we establish within ourselves to do this grounding work and be more present, to be more stable, to be more confident and trust ourselves. I say this all the time too. The trust that we have in ourselves is the exact same thing as the trust that we have in God.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly right. And you know, I would, you know, kind of phrase it. You can phrase it many ways, but what are you talking about? You're talking about faith.
Absolutely.
You're talking about faith, and how, again, what greater way is there to walk the talk? I mean, you know, we're all going to have to belly up to the bar. Everyone's going to have their crossroads, or whatever you want to call it, and whatever we've done, whatever choices we've made, you know, regardless of how crazy they might have seemed, is what got us here.
Most definitely.
Let's not. Why would we want to even consider doing anything normal at this point?
Hey, we got the ball every day. It's a lifestyle. We have the ability to do the work now. The opportunity is there. It doesn't have to spill out. It doesn't have to overwhelm us. We can get up every day and do a little bit. Integrate it into our lives, so we're not putting out fires. We don't have to put out fires. It can be, I want to say easy. It can be smooth. It can be gentle. It can be graceful. It's just that taking responsibility is necessary now, and getting away from the distraction, allowing yourself to feel. Take your power back. Allow yourself to feel. Take your power back.
That's key. I mean, that's key. If you, whatever religion you're, whatever, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the vast majority, at least of the contemporary ones, are made in the image. Like again, what greater way can you walk the talk? I mean, that's just between you and that's it. And can you put that into our creative experience? I believe this is what we're doing. Brother, I love you, man. I look forward to getting together with you again. I'm going to be, I don't know. I thought I was going to be here a while, but who knows what's going to happen. But it's really a pleasure to see you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to see you. Tell Corey and Amon and Mask and Glom, all those guys, tell them I said hello. Big respect to all of you, man. You take care.
Love, baby.
All right, man.